Get set, podcast listener, and be ready to win with your mentor, motivator, and marketer, Cam Roberts. Grow your business and achieve your goals quickly with the latest tips, tools, and tactics on business, success, and marketing. Subscribe now and download your free resources at camroberts.com.au.
Hi, Cam Roberts here. Welcome to another episode of Personal Brand Talk. It's the podcast where we break down the secrets of world-class branding and marketing so you can apply them to grow, scale, and dominate your niche. Now today we're talking about a brand that doesn't just sell a product, it sells an identity. What's that brand? Well, it's Red Bull. Now, here's the interesting part. They barely talk about their product, which is their drink. So instead, they've built a whole marketing empire around stunts, sports, and storytelling. So what we're going to unpack today is we're going to break down exactly how Red Bull mastered brand storytelling, and more importantly, how you can apply their strategy to grow your own small business or your own personal brand. Now here's what we'll cover. We're going to talk about the psychology behind Red Bull's marketing. We're going to look at some real life examples of how their story-driven content goes viral, and you're going to get 5 to 7 steps that you can implement today to create your own high-impact brand storytelling. So let's get into it. So let's start off with a big question. Why do people care about Red Bull's content? Because it's not about Red Bull. It's not about them. It's about their audience. Instead of running ads to energy drinks, Red Bull built a multimedia empire around high-performance sports and extreme feats. Now here's an example. There was a space jump by a guy called Felix. Now I can't even pronounce his last name. I think it's Baumgartner. So Felix Baumgartner, space jump in 2012. Red Bull literally took storytelling to stratospheric levels when they sponsored Felix's record-breaking skydive from the edge of space. 8 million people watched the live event. It was a live event that was broadcast across YouTube, and it made history. Now, what Red Bull was not selling that day was a drink, but what they had was a captive audience seeing their brand live all across the world. Now, let's look at their Red Bull racing and aeroplane stunts. Now, Red Bull owns teams and competitions rather than just sponsors them. So rather than go out and sponsor sporting events, they create sporting events. So by controlling the narrative, they can control where they put their logo, where they put their brand. Just this morning, I was watching a TikTok reel, and it was a snowboarder going over various jumps that had been built in a lake. So there was like 6 jumps not connected, and so as he jumped from one jump to the next, he went over a body of water. Now, each time he made the jump, there was a Red Bull logo positioned in just the right spot for the camera, which was a drone following him as he went through these multiple jumps across these multiple lakes. So they got to control the narrative and create that long-term brand effect and exposure instead of just having a sponsored event like you see at the football or soccer, where the brand is just like a logo on the side of the field. But in Red Bull's case, they control the whole narrative. So they own a Red Bull media house, and that's what you should do. Even on a micro level, you should own a media house. Control your own narrative across social media, email, website, LinkedIn, TikTok, Reels, podcast. Control your own narrative. So Red Bull runs this at full scale, omni-channel, get their media all across the internet. And they produce high-quality films, documentary, and sports coverage that's entertaining. So they have that entertainment factor. So they're using one of the 3 E's that I tell people to use: entertainment, education, and empowerment. They are one of the 3 E's that you should have in your content. Now, in Red Bull's case, they go after the entertainment factor. The YouTube channel alone has 11.5 million subscribers, proving that people want entertainment and not ads. So what's their secret? or they create stories that people want to watch, share, and remember. So let's look at how you can apply that in your business. How can small businesses and personal brand use storytelling like Red Bull? You don't need to be a Red Bull or a Red Bull budget or have a Red Bull budget to tell stories that grab attention. Here's how you can apply the Red Bull strategy on a micro level in your own business or personal brand. Number one, define your brand's big idea. Red Bull's big idea is pushing limits of human performance. But what's your brand's core performance? What's your brand's core belief? Are you about helping businesses grow faster? Are you about empowering people to master their craft? Your brand story starts with that one big idea that resonates with your audience. Step two, make your customers the hero. So Red Bull isn't the hero in their stories. They're not the hero in their narrative, right? Their hero is the athletes and the adventurers that those people are in. So how can you make your clients or your customers or your audience the hero of your story? Well, you can share customer success stories. You can show your product in action. You can showcase your audience winning because of what you offer. You can highlight real-world transformations. So in the same way that Red Bull uses that narrative to feature high-performance athletes performing stunts, you can do the same thing at a micro level. You can show that your high-performance athletes, who are your customers and clients, performing their own high-performance stunts at a micro level with their wins in their business or their wins in their craft or their wins at, on their fitness or their wins with their finances or the wins with their trading, right? Whatever it is, you can do exactly the same thing as what Red Bull is doing, but at a micro level. So let's move on to step three. Create shareable, story-driven content. Now, don't just post buy my product content and hope people buy it and hope people book in for a consult with you or buy your product or service. It's not going to happen. So here's some ideas to inspire you to get the content juices going. So number one, show a behind the scenes of what you do on a daily life. So what do you do behind the scenes? How do you create your content? What's your business do behind the scenes? Give people a tour of your business, of what goes on behind the scenes, how you put things together. If you're a trading company, how do you do the trades? How do you find the trades? Who do you look for in your inspiration of trading? If you have a look at, if you're in the investment space or real estate, that's a great product to walk around. If you're in e-commerce, how do you unpack your products? Can you go behind the scenes and show the orders coming in and things being packed? All of those sorts of visual storytelling using short videos, reels and carousels are very effective for showing people how to tell a story and not how to buy my product. Because people will buy your product because stories sell, right? And that's the important part of all of this. So step 4, own your own media. Don't just rent it out. So Red Bull owns their media channels. So their media channels are YouTube, events, publications. So instead of just posting on social media, think about having your own live podcast, doing your own live LinkedIn Q&A, doing your own video series, building up that blog or that email newsletter or the EDMs that people want to open. Keep them informed. Create a signature event or challenge or even a live local event. It doesn't have to be huge. You could be a speaker. You could speak on stage and hold your own stages. You don't have to speak on other people's stages. You can hold small workshops. We've done amazingly well positioning some of my clients in what we call small workshops. So no big stages, no 100, 200 people in a room. Just put 30 or 40 people in a room. Sign 5 to 10 people up a time using that small workshop model and just repeat that workshop model 6-7 times a year. All of a sudden, you've got all these new clients that you wouldn't have had before. Step 5, partner with the right people. Red Bull doesn't promote itself, it aligns itself with extreme sports icons. You can do the same. Collaborate with like-minded people. Who are the influencers in your area? And not just influencers you see on the internet, but if you knew someone like Mark Burras from Yellow Brick Road, if you knew a Robert Kiyosaki, right, or someone like that, who's an influencer in their space, get those people on your podcast show. I know I've had many great influencers on my podcast show, and people have reached out to me and said, "Oh, I heard you interviewing so and so, and I was wondering if I can work with you." And so I end up attracting clients because I've had influencers, and not just like quote unquote influencers that just make money out of Instagram. I'm talking about real people who run real businesses, who influence people just because of what they do with their business. Those people are the people you want to connect with. So get featured on other people's podcasts, write blogs for other people's websites, be on industry-specific expos and platforms, and wherever you can put your brand next to trusted names in your space, do that, because that's going to make a major difference in what you do. Step 6, build anticipation with campaigns. So Red Bull hypes up events and releases epic teasers before big launches. You should be doing the same. So how can you build anticipation? Well, you can run launch challenges. So run a little challenge, like a little 7-day challenge or 14-day challenge that kind of gives a little bit of a behind the curtain sneak peek, but still solves a problem for people. Like they still get great value out of the 7 or 14-day challenge. Show them some behind the scenes clips, show them exclusive previews, use storytelling to create the launch and the pre-launch challenges. Step 7, be consistent and play the long game. Red Bull's storytelling wasn't built in a year. It's been decades in the making. So don't give up after a week or two. Don't give up after a couple of months. I see so many people, they say things like, well, I experienced this. I don't see it. I experience it because they talk to me online or in Zoom calls or on a WhatsApp call. And the one thing they say is, they say things like, oh, I tried Facebook ads once and it didn't work. Oh, I tried, doing SEO once and it didn't work. I've done, email marketing before, it doesn't work. I don't read emails, so email marketing doesn't work. Well, if you don't read emails, doesn't mean that no one else does read emails. Another one is like, oh, SMS marketing doesn't work. Our audience doesn't like SMS marketing. Well, if you did all of those things and told stories and just didn't sell and pitch, you would find that omni-channel approach using storytelling and branding would work very effectively. So you don't need viral moments. You just need consistent storytelling. So keep showing up, keep sharing stories, keep having that omnipresent approach of being on multiple channels, and pick your best channels to be on where your audience is hanging out, and you'll be part of something bigger. You'll start to build momentum. So let's recap. Red Bull wins by telling stories, not selling products, and you can do the same. So by defining your brand's big idea, making your audience the hero, creating engaging, shareable content, owning your media instead of renting attention, partnering with the right people, building anticipation with campaigns, and staying consistent with long-term growth. So now it's your turn. What's one way you're going to level up your brand storytelling this week? Drop me a comment or DM. I'd love to hear it. And to find out more about how I can help you, go to camroberts.com.au, or for further podcast episodes, just check out camroberts.com.au/podcast, or go to Spotify or Apple, wherever you're listening to, and just type in Personal Brand Talk, Cam Roberts, and you'll see the episodes. Until next time, this is Cam Roberts, signing out.